Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Legends of Arcadia Genesis. Our party members are taking a stroll through the plains on the way to the cave, deep in the woods. Well, gently in the woods, lightly in the woods, mild doorway in the woods.
So has Clara never been outside of Acropolis at all?
Never left Acropolis. Never stepped beyond the town walls. And is stepping out now for the first time, taking in the sights and the sounds, which is pretty much just fields and pastures. But you've got great views of the mountains. You've got this like clear running creek that seems to almost be like laughing as you walk past it. There's like the weird sounds of laughter coming from the river that are almost unsettling if they weren't so pleasant, you know?
I'll just mention, I'll say, it's Yoon is in his honeymoon phase still. You know, the chuckling never ends, but
I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean, but okay.
There's right now there's two spirits living in this river, and they just got, I guess, the equivalent of married. It's a bond for life or something. They're really enjoying each other's company. There's a lot of chuckling going on usually.
Soul bonding.
Yeah.
To
be frank with you, I think she's a bit of a bitch and he hasn't figured it out yet, but you know, that's why it's called the honeymoon phase, so.
Wow. So is this June your special friend? Do I detect a hint of jealousy?
Special friend. You have to
You and
explain
June
that
were friends,
concept to
right?
me.
I thought I saw you guys come into the shop together
know.
at some point. It
I'm
just
not
seems
sure.
if he's your friend, then the person that he's bonded with, I would expect you to be, you know, happy for him. No?
So first of all, I don't think I have any friends, and I'm not sure I should have any friends in the first place. You know, the bond of us is such that we are all protectors of the valley, and anything that goes beyond that I really can't tell because I'm not very good at reading other people's emotions. I think can you be friends with somebody you're slightly afraid of?
I think so. Can't you?
I don't know.
I'm
not
slightly
really
afraid of
any
you,
them.
but I thought we were friends.
Anybody's slightly afraid of me, usually. At least slightly. Others are screaming their head off. That's quite funny if you see somebody for the first time and they just take off screaming. Makes me chuckle sometimes.
This is why I'm slightly afraid.
It's more like a human reaction, I think. It's like when most people see spiders, you know. Some people think, oh, that's kind of cute. Most people think that's pretty terrifying and I'd like to burn it. So that's pretty much the same reaction I'm getting most of the time. It's not that... Okay.
So then you're not jealous of June's new boo.
I mean, I'm not jealous of... June kind of sacrificed himself and what he used to be to protect this valley, which I think is ambitious and a greater sacrifice than any of us other apparently were ready to do. But I also believe that the nymph exploited the weakness he had in this moment for her own benefit, which is not something we don't all do at times. I get that, but it's still something I will judge her for.
I think that's okay. I don't think you'd ever manipulate someone into getting what you want out of them.
Oh no, I manipulate people all the time. Don't worry about it. I'm an illusionist. That's what I am. Just like you're an enchantress. You enchant people, don't you? You change your appearance.
No, I don't change my appearance at all. This is my natural form, she says, holding out her arms.
Press X to doubt, Neal. Can I try to look for her full form and disbelieve what she looks like? What do I roll for this?
A saving throw versus spell?
Let's go. Saving throw versus spell. Where is that? Combat? Combat. It's a success.
She is the way she appears to be. There's no like little shimmer of magic, no like blurring of skin and pores to hide things, no magical elongation of legs or, you know, tightening of anything. No photoshopping of this person in real time.
I'll squint at it and I'll say, actually, I do believe you, you know. But, Clara, if you want to leave behind the sweet little enchantress that is living in a shop and has never seen the outside of the world before, you know, enchantment is quite the strong field. Not just in making potions or, you know, enchanting weapons or whatever. There's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, I just, I get really, nervous in high intensity situations. And I kind of fumble and lose my way a little bit. That's why I've opted, well, I mean, I guess I opted into being a shop owner because I was created to be a shop owner. But I was created with this, you know, aversion to high intensity situations, I guess for a reason, and that's just who I am. So, you know, the whole ogres thing or exploring the plains or going up into the mountains, it's makes me a little uncomfortable, and
Yeah,
I
but
do
you're
this
going
weird
right
laughter
now.
thing. Yeah? I guess you're right. This is kind of a high intensity situation. I mean, it's just dinner, though, right? It's just dinner.
Clara, it's fine. You're one of the people of this valley. You're in the group of people that I'm protecting. I won't let anything happen to you, and I won't do anything bad to you.
Okay.
You also make me nervous when you're so nervous. So if you could just try to.
I'm
tone it
nervous
down
because
a
you're
little bit.
nervous.
What?
I'm nervous because you're nervous. Look at you.
I'm
Got
not
nervousness
nervous.
coming out of your skin.
What do you mean? I'm always this pale.
I don't think so. I think you look nice.
Okay. Well, anyway, so this is the river I was talking about, and if you look over there, this is the mountains where you told me the snow lilies are up there. How do you even make up these quests if you've never seen them before?
How did you know your name?
I think somebody called me that when I popped up.
I was created with a encyclopedic knowledge of all things magical enchantment related and spell components, reagents, you might say. I have a great breadth of knowledge on magic and crafting and spells and these things, and some ability to use them, and very, very little ability to interact appropriately with people outside of very rigid social structures, which is why being a shopkeeper works so well for me. Very
and
clear.
Why walking down into the woods with a weird witch is a little bit out of your comfort zone.
Well, I mean, it's you know, a formal nature when you're invited to dinner to accept the dinner request. It's the cultural thing to do, and I'm trying to follow cultural norms to, you know,
Great.
that's what I do.
Well, I'll hope you'll at least enjoy it a little bit.
So far, it's been very nice. Thank you.
Great. I guess we keep
Yeah.
walking.
You guys can stay at one of the little hovels along the way. They'll give you a barn and some snacks and whatnot, and eventually you will end up heading into the woods. Now, it's really like a 2-day journey to the edge of the woods, and then it would be like another couple hours to get into the woods, and we're not even yet at the spring equinox. So if you want to make it all the way to the woods tonight, it'll be a bit of a forced march, and you won't get there until after dark. I don't know if that's ideal dinner making time, or you guys could
Probably not. I mean, we wouldn't have. Like, we can just rest at the house before going into the forest, right?
Yep.
That's fine.
You guys can stop off at the house.
Yeah.
Coming inside, there is no Malchus sitting on the table, thankfully.
There's a lot of relief as I'm poking my head and I say, "Oh man, the old man isn't in. We're lucky."
But there is a large pile of wood shavings on the ground,
God.
and a few added household decorations on the walls.
Did he hang up all the penises, Neal?
There's a whole series of winged dicks everywhere.
So I promise it normally doesn't look like this, but Marcus has a very funny way of doing interior decoration.
I understand. When my shop was broken into, there was one of these, she says, pointing to one on the wall, left on my counter.
Yeah, hilarious, isn't it? Makes me chuckle every time.
I don't understand the obsession. But, you know, boys will be boys, and they only have one thing on their mind.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, okay, there's not, if you would like to stay somewhere, I can check whoever, I'm gonna check through the rooms. Are they all empty? I guess I take everybody. It has flown out.
Mm-hmm. Yep, all empty.
Great. So I'm gonna walk upstairs, and since I left the creepy message in Iswald's room, I guess I walk over. I'm not sure if Manfred is around or not, so I'm gonna go with Abaddon's room. I'm gonna leave Abaddon's room to
Clara.
I'm gonna be like, you could crash in here, don't worry about it. Usually it's Abaddon's room, but I'm sure he's on some path to enlightenment, you know. Probably the best protected room as well, since he's the chosen of Malchus, so. Yeah. I'm sure he wouldn't mind at all, you crushing here. Yeah.
Well,
Is there anything you need?
No, just, you know, the kitchen's that way, so I'll go make some tea and, you know, and I guess you guys can just pass the evening away. It's been a long couple days of hiking, and after a couple cups of tea, she's ready to zonk out, and we can just flip over the next day. Now, it is the end of March. So, actually, we did just pass the first day of spring. So we have passed the equinox. The days are beginning to get a little bit longer. And so head to the forest early in the morning?
Sure.
Perfect. All right. Would you roll me a D100, please? We've rolled very many dice today.
I'm sorry.
It's absolutely your fault that we haven't rolled any dice. You should be sorry.
I could have asked lots of questions that lead to dice rolls, but I didn't in case nobody noticed. But
That's,
you know.
Yeah. So on your journey to your cave, you come across a small herd of Pachycephalosauruses.
Pachycephalosauruses are those the ones that are really
Pachycephalosaurus.
smart when it comes to fighting pandemics.
No, that's a
Google
Cassandra dinosaur. Sorry. They've got like a kind of a rounded. I shouldn't say round. It's kind of like a flattened head-ish. It's still round, but it's balled up top with like a little ring of spikes around it, and they defend themselves by smashing their skulls into their enemies. They just go around like headbutting people to death. They are omnivores, primarily plant eaters, but you can munch on flesh if they find they're hungry enough and it's non-threatening enough. You come across a group of 4 of these very large critters.
I guess I'll wait. I'll put out a hand for Clara to make her way, and I'll say, you know, this is why I would love to have a way of just disappearing and not being noticed, because every time I walk through here, there's something going on, and I'm really not that much of a fighter.
So what do we do? Just wait?
I think we should just... Maybe the best thing to do is to pretend we're not even here. Can you crouch down here for a little bit?
I have a spell for this, she says.
Like
but
what?
it only works on one person.
What does it do?
It sort of makes the person unnoticeable, not invisible, but just unnoticeable as long as they stay on the fringes.
Well, I think you should use that on yourself, just in case, to be sure. And I'll try to block us from you. How about that?
Okay. She will reach into one of her pockets and pull out like a little vial of oil, and will begin to sort of like outline herself with the oil, and speaks a few words. It takes like a full minute to cast the spell, and you can see her, but you find that you look at her, and then you'll notice like something behind her, or as long as she's not doing anything, your attention will be grabbed by whatever it normally gets grabbed by, and you kind of lose track of her. Like she's there, but there's just other things you're paying attention to.
I will sneak a little bit away from her, just in case one of us gets discovered. And I will try to create a long tree and brush line in front of us, so it looks like wherever we are, the forest is suddenly way more dense than it used to be, and it's really hard to look through that. As she pulls out her Phantasmal Force card, and tries to shape the forest in a way where it's difficult for them to be spotted. And then she wants to wait for the herd to move on.
Yeah. They munch. You can create like some walls between you with the woods and move past them without too much problem. You get most of your way to the cave, and sort of you're like aware that she's around here somewhere, but without any real notion of like looking for her. You're just kind of on your way to your cave, having sort of lost track of the woman and maybe even your objective with her.
Right. I mean, I guess at some point when we're out of the woods and I feel like we're safe, I'll just be like, Clara?
Yeah, and when you start calling for her and explicitly looking for her, you'll see that she's, just a little bit away from you. There's a bit of a bush between the two of you that was obscuring your view. But now that you're specifically looking for her, you can find her without too much problem.
All right. Cave is over there. Are you doing all right?
Yep. She says, and she will walk up to you, and the two of you can step into the cave together. But before you step all the way in the cave, would you make me a wisdom check?
29.
You notice something amiss right away. This is your home. You're aware when something is out of place and something is out of place right away at the very entrance. That barrel you bought has is lying on its side much closer to the entrance than you had left it.
Taking out a dagger. Neal. Put it in my hands. I'm gonna throw one into the cave straight away.
Just hurl a dagger into the cave?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Roll me an attack to hit.
11. I think I still roll flat d20s. I don't think I may just get anything. 18.
Excellent.
Good
Your
shot.
dagger whoosh and clatters deep into the cave, tinging off of stone. That's when the lumbering creature begins to emerge from the cave. It is a single ogre who has got a pile of some of your stuff under one arm and some of your rations in a hand. He's munching on them, and it comes out of the cave towards you, eats some of the rations, looks down at you, and growls.
Okay, Neal. Throwing another dagger. Rolling for initiative. not gonna let people steal my shit. We're not here to talk. This is not some sort of expedition or anything. Fuck that guy.
All right, roll us initiative. Ogre goes at 12.
Literally just did the spring cleaning. He's ruining everything.
Cleaned it up for him to take. You could say he's cleaning you out.
Wow, what a bitch.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
All right, you go first. You got it.
Okay. 1d20. So he's walking out of the... Is he in melee range with me, or is he still a little bit
No,
away?
he's a little bit away.
And is he out of the cave, or is he still standing in the entrance?
He's standing in the entrance, stuff
Okay,
under
so
one
I
arm.
can't... Yeah, I mean, I would not be able to flank him, because he's, like, obviously encased by the wall, so I'm just
And
gonna
it's just
do
the
a
two
normal...
of you, so he could easily just turn to face you if you attempted to flank.
I'm trying a normal dagger attack, which is probably a miss with an 11.
Yep. It kind of, the back end hits one of his, you know, more blubbery belly parts, and it bounces off of him and falls to the ground. The ogre just drops your stuff and turns around and heads into the cave. And then a moment later reappears dragging a large branch behind him, which he goes to raise. Yeah, he brought it into the cave and put it down while he was rummaging through your shit, and he goes back in, gets it,
Lord.
goes to raise it, and like hits the cave ceiling, and some rocks fall on him, and the ogre like steps out the rest of the way of the cave.
I just did the sweeping, you idiot!
And he bashes the club on the ground and swings for you with a 1, which I guess is again bringing it up against the cave wall, hitting the ceiling. Saving throw versus death for the ogre is a 3. Some of the rocks from the ceiling, a large rock breaks free and lands on the ogre. Would you roll me 1d6 for rock falling damage on our ogre friend? Our
my
clumsy
God.
ogre friend?
1 damage.
Nice.
He pebbles himself.
One damage. Excellent. Next round.
Same thing.
Okay, and this is when you hear Clara begin to lose it a little bit. She's over sort of next to you and is just doing like this really uncomfortable laughter. This it's an ogre! A little weirded out by the situation.
Oh, God. Be happy it's only 1. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay. What spells did she have on hand? Oh, not a lot. She is not built for combat. Clara.
And whose fault is that, Neal?
Malchus's fault. Blame Malchus.
Hashtag blame Malchus.
Yep. I guess this is the best thing she can do. All right, so she will roll in at 9, and the ogre will roll in at 16.
Wow, okay, so I'm going first, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
18 on the dagger.
You will... This is a throw, yeah?
Yeah.
You throw the dagger end over end. It smashes into the ogre, not critically him, but hitting him. For 1 point of damage. Oh, yeah. It's all coming together now.
I look at Clara and just say, do you see why I need the daggers back just in this case? You know, it's now not some theoretical scenario, but this is why I'm running out of daggers.
She is currently reaching into a pouch, and you see many spiders crawling out of the pouch and up her arm as she, in a panic, is like trying to brush them off of her, and then like grabs one and throws down a spell and eats the spider. Yep.
I'll just look over. I'll be like, okay.
Mm-hmm. And then
Turning my attention
she
back to the ogre.
climbs up the sheer wall of the cave on the outside and like scampers over the front on all fours.
Weirdest thing I've seen all day.
To be above the cave as the ogre brushes off the rocks and dust from his head and steps out of the cave, swinging his large ogre club in your direction. A 10 to hit you.
Nope.
Nope.
Get my dex, luckily.
And do you have any other extra daggers? You still have more, yeah?
Yes, I do have 5 total daggers. So
all right, well, you can... He's in melee range now, so I don't know if you can keep throwing. Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay. Then initiative.
Oh, I gotta look up that spell though.
What the hell does that squirrel have? It's a squirrel eating something weird in the tree.
10 plus 7. Okay.
Okay. Okay. You got a 7 on initiative. Clara gets a 1 round casting time, and the ogre gets a 13.
So I'm going first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Nyx is doing year old, getting out a piece of butter, putting it in her mouth, chewing down on it, pulling the card that looks like a cup over her mouth, and spewing out a large fountain of blood right in front of a cave, just horizontally, trying to make the ogre slide on bloody grease.
You breathe bloody grease all over the front of the cave and the ogre?
Yeah, I mean, the spring cleaning
horrifying.
part is already ruined. You know, how much worse can it possibly get? So,
Bloody
if I'm cleaning
grease.
up stuff, at least it's my stuff.
All right, the ogre gets a saving throw versus spell. And let me look up the ogre save. The ogre save is a 16, and the ogre has rolled a 14 on the die.
Oh, okay.
So the ogre gives a tremendous slip and fall and comes crashing down onto the ground. Oof.
Right.
Grease. Those who successfully save. Nope. Those who remain in the area are allowed a saving throw each round until they escape. Excellent. So he lands flat on his back, failed his saving throw. I guess that's his turn, is spent in the grease trying to escape, unable to do so. And that's when Clara will... What was she casting again? 1 round casting time. It was... Oh no. It's clever. Now I've lost it.
I mean, it's a full round casting time, Neal. You have like 1 minute to figure out what the spell was, so.
It is Alarm, which seems like an odd spell to cast at this point, but she casts it on the area where the ogre already is, which allows large alarm bells to start ringing out of the cave, making a whole bunch of ruckus and noise. Top 10 combat wizard right here.
We'll have to discuss that later, but... Okay.
Add
Try your
initiative.
best. We're not judging, okay? It's fine.
She's an enchantress who runs a shop. She's got spider climb and alarm memorized
We
for
really
the day.
have to work on those spells, Clara. We have to work on that.
All
No,
right.
no surprise she's getting mugged. Like, is this what she got? We should have mugged her if that's all she has. Holy shit. I'll keep it in mind for next time.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Ogre gets a 14 on initiative. Clara rolls a 10 plus.
Oh, is it a +2 if you attack with a dagger as well? I guess it would be a 4. It might be a 4 instead, but okay.
2 plus. She doesn't think a sleep spell is going to work on an ogre. That's pretty much it. That's all she's got. She's done. So the ogre at 14, you at 3, you go first.
So I have 2 daggers left, right? I've burned 3. I have 2 daggers left. I'm gonna take one of the daggers. And where's Clara? Is she up? Is she still climbed up, or has she climbed back down?
Nope, she's climbed up about 15 feet off the ground over the cave entrance.
Okay, I will take the dagger and I'll chuck it next to me onto the floor. Like, just drop it there. And then I'm gonna take out my last dagger that I have. And I'm gonna melee attack the ogre.
While he's
As
prone in the grease pile?
Yep.
That'll be a +4 to hit because he's prone. However, the ogre is in the middle of this greasy area. I guess this is 10 by 10 and the ogre's like 8 feet tall, so you shouldn't have problem getting to him. Like 9 feet tall. All right, it's fine. But you come to the ogre who's like on all fours trying to like slip out of this place.
Yep.
And what, like leap across the grease and land on him and stab him? Or how do you, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Give me an attack roll. 16 plus 4 is a 20. That will easily hit the ogre.
No, it is already a +4 for that. I already did. I think
Splendid
that.
then.
16.
It's a regular hit then. 1 damage. Oh,
4 damage. Fuck you, Neal.
Stab the ogre in the back. It slices between the ribs. The ogre gives out a cry. Fails his saving throw versus spell. He is still in the grease pile.
I'll just yell, get the dagger! What are you doing?
I don't know what to do. I've never even thought about the ogre before. I don't know how to use a dagger. And she will attempt to throw a rock at the ogre. Well, look
That's
at that.
6.
She misses.
Oh my god, Neal. Jesus. Okay.
God, she's not a combat wizard. She's got no proficiencies, so she has a -5 on all attack rolls with all weapons. Yep. It's just you and the ogre who has failed his save, and next round he's not going to try and get out of the grease. He's just going to beat you to death now that you've engaged him in melee. So
that's fair.
15 on his initiative. Very slow, Mr. Ogre. Very slow.
Am I getting a +4 for the grease?
To hit?
Still?
Yes, because he's still prone and you're upon him.
Okay. I'm going first, I imagine. 20!
Oh.
This time, better.
Yes, you will skewer the creature. It's not a natural 18, so it's not a crit, but you will still stab him in the back.
Another d4. 1 damage.
There we go.
Death by 1,000 stabs, Neal.
Yep.
Let's hope he didn't roll a fucking 16 on his HP. We're gonna be here all day.
The ogre is just gonna reach for you to grab you and bash you into the ground, but it is a melee. It'll provoke an attack of opportunity. What I'm trying to say. So as the ogre like reaches onto his back to grab for you.
Does that mean I'm getting the opportunity attack first? Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god!
Nobody's grabbing me without me consenting, Neal. It's happening.
He reaches for your wrist. You will crit him, single crit, because you always got 15 AC and you only rolled a 24. Okay. So 2d4 damage.
Are you ready for 2 damage?
I'm so ready for 2 damage. Oh
7.
My god! That will bring the ogre to basically dead.
Yeah, I guess he grabs for me, and I just take the opportunity and just slice his entire wrist open. And he starts bleeding profusely.
The blood flows everywhere. The attack resolves. The ogre grabs you. I do believe a 17 hits.
Clears by 6.
And it hurls you. He just like grabs and chucks you into the cave.
Nice.
Which will probably do about d6 worth of damage, I think, when an ogre throws you into a stone wall. You'll take 1 point of damage.
Nice.
And we'll roll initiative. And the ogre will go at 7, very early. Oh, Clara also throws a rock. And it misses.
Oh, shit.
Nice.
Didn't roll.
How is your slash button anywhere near your parentheses button? This is amazing.
It's actually very
strange keyboard formations. You will beat the ogre in initiative, although you can clearly see that he's scrambling to get out of the grease and get the hell out of this place. Looks like he's trying to retreat.
So he's running from here?
He's trying to. You can get yourself up. I think... Give me a dex check, see if you held on to your dagger during that whole being hurled across the room.
And this is why we need returning daggers, everybody. Just exactly for this situation.
All right, you do have your dagger still in hand.
So I do have my dagger, and I intend, like, I wanted to move on to him and actually kill him, but he's scrambling and he's bleeding. How afraid does it look of us on a scale of 1 to 10?
The fear of death is within this ogre, but this ogre's deity is the goddess of death. So, like, the fear of death isn't as much as you might see in a person who might outright panic and be terrified. Instead, this is more of the like, this is not my time. I'm going to try and get out of here. But, you know, if I die, I get to meet my goddess who just left the world, sort of.
Right, but it is scrambling into the direction of the forest, not into the direction to come in and slaughter me.
Yes.
Sure, I will hold attack and let him go first.
All right. Passes his save, scrambles out of the grease, and bolts into the woods. You can hear the crashing of plants behind him as he goes, and soon the ogre is gone. And Clara Spider climbs her way back down into the cave. That was really. Oh my God! Why do you live out here? Why would you make your home with the ogres? It's really.
It's fine.
Oh my God!
I have like.
Oh my God!
That's just.
What if he comes back with his friends?
Was that the most exciting thing that's happened to you in weeks, though?
In 3 years of life, three months of life, forever.
I was about to say, have you really been around for 3 years? That would have been
no. I just
ages.
got
I'm like
months
4 months old.
Just got months and years mixed up. It's I think you're bleeding. Hold on, and she'll take a corner of her shirt sleeve and try and like dab your nose and stop the bleeding.
Oh, that's adorable. I actually have a nosebleed every night. I'm pretty used to this.
Well, she's unaware of that feature, and tries her best to patch you up, which, you know, there's not much to do. And then we'll stand looking nervously out of the cave while being like, so, what's for dinner?
Well, I put down my my cup card back onto the ground, and the grease gets sucked back in, so at least that bloody mess is over, you know. And she said, so well, I'm gonna get some water to get rid of this large blood stain over here. If you could just get this stuff back in, you know, put the cooking pot back on the fire just so I can start cooking anytime soon, that would be lovely. Usually I don't ask other people to clean up my stuff, but it's kind of a mess right now, so
I mean, it takes two
to sort this out.
Yeah, it takes two to tango, right? You know, many hands make for light work.
You'll be safe in here. Don't worry about it. I'll be right back.
Sure? He might come back with his friends while you're gone?
No. I'm very sure about that.
Okay. And you leave her in the cave alone. Where do you go?
Get some. Oh, I'm just getting the bucket, getting some water.
okay.
I mean, he tipped over the barrel, so you know,
Right.
getting some new water. You know, cleaning out the blood stain, because that's not very nice to have dinner in front of like ogre blood.
Yeah,
So
well,
now I'll try to find my daggers in the cave again. Like, did you see? I'm still missing. Have you seen the last dagger anywhere?
she will bring you a dagger that she found in the cave.
Nice.
It is yours.
See, this is a problem I encounter every single day, and that's only one ogre. Last time we fought about, I want to say 8 of them. There's just
my
never
God.
enough daggers around. Yeah, right?
So you're saying they could
Tell
come
you.
back in mass?
No, they don't come back. I mean, this guy, he was just hungry. You know, they roam around and they take whatever they can find, but really,
Okay. Well, as you will cook, she will do her best to like rearrange the decorations of your house that have been mismanaged by the ogre, and set about making herself semi-useful.
you know, I was thinking, right now I only have candles around, but I thought maybe right here in the middle I could put this really nice, I think they call it a lantern. I talked to a paper vendor the other day, and they said that is something you can make, but you need to put a light into it. And I find putting a candle close to paper quite intimidating. You said that's normal, but I find that's a ridiculous notion. You know.
Well, there's the magic lantern spell. I normally sell these in my shop. But considering you just saved my life, I'm pretty sure, even though you did invite me out here to get my life risked, I could make a, you don't actually have the paper. Never mind.
You can make lanterns?
I'm an enchantress. I know you think I use it to change my appearance, which it must be very flattering if you think this is a magically enchanted appearance. But, I mostly use it for minor magical charms and wards and things, including lanterns that will illuminate upon command.
What do you mean minor. Do you have any idea how important it is to people to have light in their homes?
Oh, I
It's
do.
one
That's
of the
why I sell
most-
them for so much money.
Wow.
Yep,
Well,
quite expensive.
How do you make a lantern?
Well, the lantern is a sort of like a wooden basket almost, you know, a wooden structure that you then plaster with some sort of paper on the outside, and then you enchant it with a little bit of bioluminescent moss and the color of sand that you would like the lantern to illuminate with. The spell takes about 10 minutes to cast, and it'll produce ambient light equal to about 5 candles, but no heat whatsoever. And on touch, you can dim or lighten or brighten the lantern. Sheds about 30 feet of soft light.
And you came up with that idea?
No, not at all. Our Lord and Savior Malchus blessed me with this spell.
Oh, of course the party king came up with the lampions. What a surprise. Well... You should show me sometime how you make these. I'd love to bring one back here, you know, just for some more light around.
Well, when we're not in the spooky, scary woods where creatures are about to destroy our faces, we get back to some semblance of civilization. I can show you how it's done.
Clara, I know you're afraid of this ogre, but that group of thieves that is robbing you back home isn't much better, you know?
I guess
Just
it
because
just feels...
they're humans doesn't mean they're less scary. I find humans inherently scary. At least this is some lumbering idiot who's just gonna leave.
Yeah, but at least when they broke in, I wasn't awake for it, you know? You just woke up and it was over.
Yeah, but if you... Okay. I mean, I don't mean to scare you. I will, but I don't mean to. If they break in and you are awake, don't you feel more ready now than you did before?
I guess. No?
Would you
Not
like
at
to have
all.
one of my daggers just in case?
No, I think I'd hurt myself with it. I just, you know, I'll just eat another spider. Actually, I don't have that spell yet for today. It'll be fine. You'll keep me safe, I'm sure. I
like
believe
the
in
spider
you.
climbing too. That's also a little scary, not gonna lie.
Well, you know, didn't mean to let all the spiders go. But no offense, I'm sure I can find some in here to refill my bag.
I'm sure you can. And I guess as we're having the discussions about finding spiders, you know, I prepare the dinner for the two of us. Should I roll a cook-in check, which is...
Oh, please give me a cooking check, yeah. And while you're making dinner, she'll head out just outside of the cave to trim a little bit of plant here, a little bit of plant there, bring in some, like, tree branches still with, like, greenery on them to, like, place on the walls to give the cave a less, like, dark and goblin-y feel and more of, like, a cozy, warm winter
That is
cabin
adorable,
feel.
and I would absolutely throw them. Hold up.
All right, what was that cooking check?
It's intelligence. I'm just looking at the modifier, but I don't think it has any. No modifier. Okay. Bam.
Oh my god!
31 Neal. And I do have the necessary equipment because I brought a skillet and a pot.
Oh my god, it is fantastic. We got turkey, we got pumpkin pie, which takes a while because you got to make the dough and everything. You've got cranberry sauce fresh from the can. It is delicious. Yeah. I think the afternoon goes rather pleasantly with you and Clara. She's doing some decorating, you're doing some cooking. The worries of the forest seem to melt away. Your ungrateful friends who just like talk shit about you behind your back and to your face are nowhere to be seen. And yeah, the day passes so pleasantly. But soon the sun begins to set, and it is very clear that it's too dark to travel the woods back to town or back to the settlement. And so in the cave for the night, you must be.
Yeah, I will prepare a nice little, like, I'll give her one of the sheepskins. You know, she can have my, the bedroll that was already there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
And I'll provide that for her, and I'll tell her it can get a little bit cold. If you're too cold, just put another log on the fire. It's fine. I've supplied enough for the rest of the month.
Yeah.
Do you think this is adequate for the potion?
Why, I think if we survive it back to Acropolis, this will definitely suffice. I gotta say, Nix, I've never had a dinner like this before. It's really refreshing and nice to have someone to spend time with who is not just transactional.
You know, Clara, I will always be scary, no matter what. It's what I am. It never changes. Okay? I just want you to know that if you're always scared of me, I'm okay with that, as long as you're okay with that.
It's less active fear and more a general sense of disconcerting because I have no idea what you're thinking. You know? I'm not worried that you're gonna murder me in my sleep. I'm just worried that you might think I'm a bumbling idiot.
You run the only magic shop in the entire town, which makes you already smarter than a solid 80% of the population. Why would I think you're a bumbling idiot? Just statistically speaking.
Because bumbling idiot doesn't necessarily, it's not book smart, it's, you know, the ogre, and I climb on wall and throw a rock and just kind of don't even get anywhere near, and you know, the general anxiety and nervousness I feel everywhere is just kind of embarrassing. And now I'm just talking about all my faults and bad qualities, and I'm embarrassed. And I think that you're thinking less of me because I just keep talking about all my terrible parts of me. And I just, for some reason, I just can't stop. And I think I'm making a bad impression. And I just, jump me up somehow, please.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a little story. One time I was really impressed with somebody because he seemed like a very strong person. He had this weapon which looked like a flail, right? Scary weapon. He's a good-looking guy, pretty courageous, right? And he stepped up in front of this ogre, and I thought, I could never do that. How brave, you know? Well, let me tell you, he got hit once and was knocked out in the very first second and didn't even get to see anything else of the rest of the entire combat. And I thought, you know what? That's not courageous. That's just a bumbling fool right there. So sometimes maybe it is better to be clinging to the wall and throwing rocks than to just get knocked out at the very first moment and not even realizing what's happened, you know, the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want some more pumpkin pie before you go?
Please,
to bed? Last
another
chance?
serving. Let me put something in my mouth so I don't have to talk right now.
Okay.
And
I'll give her another slice of pumpkin pie.
She will wolf down the pie so that she keeps her foot out of her mouth.
Right.
You guys go to sleep. And I think you will awaken that night. Of course, you have your usual nightmares. What is it tonight?
1 second. If I had known that I needed to describe them every single... Ooh, boy. Every single time I would have actually prepared for this. So tonight we're going with a serpent that is coiled around a stick.
Ooh.
Yeah, I guess It is the first time she's had that dream, I think. It looks. Wait, I'll show the card. Like this.
Ooh.
Yeah. So if you look close, there are also some eggs in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Which Nyx picks the card before she goes to bed, so she always interprets this a little bit as this is her home, this is the place she's protecting, right?
Mm-hmm. It's very
and it is
interesting.
Kind of, yeah, it is kind of a symbol of, is it called domesticity? Like domestic, of being at home and being,
Sure. That can be a word.
Yeah. So usually the Mother of Wands appears as a is a very interesting and very vibrant woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's a mother, and she's somebody who's very protective of herself, but she can also be very protective of the things she cares about. And I think what is happening is that Nyx is not dreaming her own dream tonight, but I think she is stealing Clara's nightmare. So Clara's having a restful, peaceful night, even though normally she would have had terrible nightmares of ogres and of the spiders returning and gobbling her all up, you know. But since they are at Nyx's home, Nyx absorbs the nightmare Clara is having so that Clara can have at least a relaxing night, even if her day was kind of dreadful and scary.
Well, you will be awakened in the middle of your night, of your nightmare, only to find your head resting on something relatively soft and what feels like a warm snake wrapped around you.
Okay.
And as your
I
dreams
look at it.
shake off, you realize that in your nightmares must have been enough to wake Clara, because she has like propped your head up on her lap and is like sort of holding onto your arms and like rocking you back and forth while whispering like, shh, it's okay. It's okay, Nyx. Shh, 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 shh.
Oh, it's so cool.
And then I guess that's sort of what dawns on you as you snap out of your sleep.
I think Nyx, it's such a weird feeling for Nyx. That has never happened to her. Like, she's had so many nightmares, and people usually, they have a look, they watch, they inquire, but nobody's ever tried to protect her when she was fighting her own nightmares, right? That has never happened with anybody else. And in the first moment, she's somebody who is very protective of herself. And in the first moment, she's upset about this situation because it makes her feel weak, right? Like, somebody else noticing that she needs protection makes her feel very, very weak. But on the other hand, she was never hugged by anybody before like that, you know? And I think even if you're a witch of the woods, sometimes getting a hug is actually quite nice, you know? So it's a very confusing feeling, and she's pretty conflicted about it, but I think she extends, like, very gently, she extends a hand and puts it around, like, Claire's wrist. But she's also in the middle of a nightmare, so she's incredibly exhausted, and I guess she just falls back asleep, you know, because she knows that, like, being awake in the night is very difficult for her.
Well, why don't we take our last break, and we'll come back on the other side and finish out a little bit of Nyx's adventures. See you guys soon.